Okay. All right, guys, here it is. We're on. And it is 6 p.m. on a Wednesday night. This is Real Unfiltered Talk. This is James Bryant, along with what everybody knows as the two-time world champion, Dion Hibdon. But tonight, he is the two-time Best in Show winner, Rhapsody in White. So welcome to the show, buddy.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
And we've got the legend, the man, the myth, the legend, the master of tackle, Steven. And you go ahead and say it because I never can.
Cricket.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
That's why they call you Stick.
Yes.
No one can pronounce your last
No
name.
one can pronounce my last name.
Steve, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming all the way from Springfield to see us tonight. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good.
You good?
I'm good.
Sweet. So
Yeah.
much to talk about.
Yeah, we have a pretty good background. I mean, Stick's actually seen me do stuff that couldn't even talk about.
Not
I have fished with him since I fished with Stick since he was a teenager, probably a little bit.
Probably so.
Yeah. So we've known each other way too long.
way too long, but I don't really care about that.
Way to go.
Let's start out with some good stuff tonight. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Stick. Where are you from? What do you do? What have you done? Where have you been? Where are you going?
I'm originally from Willard. Worked at Bass Pro for 18 years, loose fishing for 6, and now I'm at Baitworks as a lure
Manufacturer, salesman, or do you actually go back there and do it?
I actually get back there and build.
We're going to get to that, but you said a lot. That's an
I've seen
hour.
it.
That's 2 hours worth of talk right there in the
I've
Dion.
seen him in the trenches. Yeah.
In the trenches.
Yeah.
I want to rewind a little bit. First of all, we have kind of a format of the show, Stick. So you got to hang on a little bit. We got a little bit to talk about first. How was your weekend? How was your week? Was it
Yeah,
good?
everything's going good.
All right. Did you fish?
Got to fish a little bit. Yes, I did.
Play any golf?
No, did not play golf this
Thank
week.
God.
I just fished. Yeah, I'm embarrassed to say, but
I did post on the Facebook page today that this was, the world famous Stick was going to be on, but it probably turned into a golf podcast tonight. So I
it
just
could.
didn't know for sure, but just in case, that's what we're talking about tonight. But yeah, so you didn't do much. Gotcha. I took notes tonight, not on a meat plate. Look at this. I have not one, but I have 2 pages of notes.
Oh crap! Me and Stick have been beginning.
Yeah. So
it's gonna be the Jamie show
I-
tonight.
no, I have all this stuff. First of all, I tried to do a bunch of research on Stick on his fishing.
On
So-
his fishing?
On his fishing, yeah.
Oh, okay.
On his tournament career. Now I will have you know that he has earned more money in his career than I have.
Oh,
So
Stick's been around a long
and that's
time.
not saying much, but in 2008, now let me start out with BSS had no record of you,
No BS.
No BS. but on MLF, the old FLW pages, I dug way back into the archives, found some stats. You ready? You want to guess?
No, I do not
He
want
fished. He fished in 2008. He
that.
fished four.
He's
He
still
fished
my friend
four.
right now.
He fished 4 tournaments in 2008. Didn't make the championship.
Yeah.
See, fished as a co-angler. Had fished overall 2008, 25th overall. Not bad.
Alright.
18 bass caught. Caught 2 bass in the championship. Finished 93rd.
Yeah, it was bad.
Not bad. But career earnings, you ready? $1,010.
Well, there you go.
That's not
Nothing
bad.
wrong
It's
with that.
not bad for a 1-year stint,
That's right.
right? Did I miss any stats there?
No,
All
No.
right. Did you enjoy it?
I did.
Okay. That's
That
it.
Who did you travel with that year?
The Aiken.
The agent? Yeah, that's what I thought.
He had a 5.05, 2 days, 5 pounds, 5 ounces. Not bad.
The championship, yeah.
Yeah.
Table
Yeah.
Rock in October. I got paired with 2.
Oh,
You say
Yeah.
Spooner?
Spooner. Yeah, we spooned
that
for
was-
2 days.
Okay, I got it. See, I was
Spoon and
thinking.
drop shot.
You gotta understand. So you gotta be careful. My mind's always in the wrong
I
place.
know,
You had
your
Spooner.
mind's
I was like,
always in the
who'd you
gutter.
snuggle with in a
Always in the
boat?
gutter.
It's like either the front or the back when it comes to spooning. But you were a back boater fishing spoon in deep water. Got it. So
And
As-
most of the time, them guys are spooning in boat docks too.
that's right.
Picking
So
in the slips and stuff like that.
So I was doing this research, kind of got in the gutter Stick, and started looking across because I went to BSS and I said I couldn't find anything on you. So I thought, okay, we'll play a little trivia here, and it made me kind of snicker. Do you know in BSS what Dion Hibdon's heaviest stringer was? Do you know?
Me?
Yeah.
I know exactly.
But so you want to guess? Because I'm gonna see if I got it right.
2102.
No,
Oh,
not even
no,
close.
even close.
Not even close. And let me see if I had it right first. There were 2 potential.
Oh, I know.
Okay. It could have been 1997 Vermont Bassmaster Top 150.
Yep.
Then it was 1987 Bassmaster Team.
Seminole.
What'd you have there?
29.50.
Well, it said in the Bassmaster Top 150 Vermont, you have 56.9.
Well, that's a 2 day though.
But still, yeah.
Yeah.
Total. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
total weight. You had
Oh, yeah.
63.8 in the Bassmasters team trail, the team event. But the funny,
Thousand Island.
I don't remember. I
Yeah,
didn't get
that's
that
the only
part.
one.
I didn't get that part. 168 tournaments of fish, but then I went down. So in 1997, Vermont Bassmaster Top 150, he had a 56.9 for a 2 day total weight, but he got beat by 5/10. You know who beat him?
Roland Martin.
Roland Martin. That made me snicker because you never realized that Roland Martin actually fished. You know, I didn't think he was a fisherman. You know who got third in that one? Mark Davis.
Yeah.
You were second. Fourth was Jenny Houston. And what made me laugh was like, damn, you are that old. It's like these old legends of fishing. It's like you're in the middle of it all. I think you were like 12 when you fished that one though.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just pulled that one up. Thought that was kind of cool.
But when I go back to the year I did fish the Toyota Series, Dion did win at Lake of the Ozarks that year.
That's right.
Because he got 2 hours of practice.
There you go.
It took me out. We fished for 2 hours, and I was tired because I just got off the plane from Spain, and I've been over there for Ranger Boat, and came home and Dad said, "Don't worry about it." And I said, "Well, see, coming up, let's go fishing." I said, "We'll take a fishing." We went out. I think I swam a jig down the side of dock.
Yeah,
Maybe 2. And then I said, okay, done. Let's pick some rods. And I let stick fish for a couple hours, and I pretty much rigged my tackle to go fishing the next couple days. And my dad, till the day he died, bitched about that because I beat him and everybody else in that deal, and I practiced for 2 hours. Nice. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty good when you don't have any preconceived notions about how you're going to catch it.
I think we got in trouble a little bit. Last week we took questions that are already coming in.
Oh,
But first things first, Stick. Tell everybody how you got your name. How'd you get the nickname Stick? I'm curious. I think I know.
Gave me that nickname many years ago. I think at an old sport boat show.
Because he couldn't say your last name either.
Yeah.
Well,
I was skinnier than what I am now.
Really?
Yeah.
He was truly a stick when he was a teenager. What was funny was he didn't have the gift of gab like he does now. Now he can actually talk. He would call my house, and my wife at that time, it's my ex-wife, she'd answer the phone, hey, and then she'd say, it's your friend. And she would just hand me the phone, and there was never any, hi, how you doing, what's up today, or nothing like that. And everything that you got out of Stick over the phone, you had to suck it out of him over the phone. Hey, Stick, what you doing? Nothing. Why'd you call, Stick? I want to talk to you. And I'm like, well, get at it. Let's keep going, And we would talk sometimes an hour at a time, and it was basically, I was talking basically to my favorite person, and that's myself. I would sit there and talk to myself on the phone, and every now and then Stick would chime in, but he learned over the years the sarcasm and everything else, and now he's almost as good as Jamie Bryant when it comes to a good conversation.
Oh, know about that. So you guys have more to talk about. So I want to dive back into your little bit of history because I'm one of those guys that grew up in Bass Pro Shops, and I'm not going to say anything negative tonight because there's no reason to. But it had to have been a cool time working 18 years in Springfield in Bass Pro because you were there, and I'm not saying you were there during the heyday, but you were there during the heyday.
When I started, there was 2 Bass Pros.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's over 100.
Yeah. So when it was the flagship store, it was truly the flagship national headquarters.
The spring fishing classics were always the best. Everybody from all over the country would come in for those weekly specials, and all the pros were there because they were scheduled around that. It was a very big event. The Legends Tournament, remember those?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool fishing the circuit, and the guys that knew Stick, because I'd always knew Stick from Willard, Missouri, and seen him at Bass Pro and stuff like that. But Stick would do, special stuff for guys that would call Bass Pro, needing tackle or something. And, Stick would send Davey Height something, in the Carolinas or something like that. Or
Well,
and he knew absolutely everybody, and everybody knew him,
and I don't know if the rule is still the same, but back in the day, whenever I went, excuse me, and I know who you are, Stick, but you didn't know who I was because you didn't realize what kind of celebrity I was back in 2000. But it was like none. Um, but the way that I got it was you had the green shirts and you had the white shirts, and if you were a green shirt guy, you were pretty much just a worker bee, right?
Yep.
But if you had the white shirt, you were the guy, right? You were generally a management, or you were a head of a department, or is that I don't know if that's still the same way as it is in Bass Pro now.
I think it's still the
Yep,
same.
you were a white shirt, weren't you?
Some.
But they always had the cool reel counter, and he was like always back there. It was like a figure, and everyone knew Stick was the guy.
It was the neat thing about, I think when Stick was getting done with Bass Pro and fixing to move on, he says, "Hey, you want to fish the manager's crappie tournament tomorrow?" he calls me and he said, he calls me like on Tuesday. He said, we fish the manager's tournament on Wednesdays, right? And I said, no, I did not know that. He said, you want to fish it?
My boat was in the shop, and I said, can Dion come? They're like, it's Lake of the Ozarks crappie fish. Anybody can show up.
Yeah.
They're catching them.
Yeah, they're just crappie. How hard can it be, right?
So his store manager and everything, we get there, and when I got out of bed that morning, that was the crazy thing. Got out of bed.
The house is shaking. The wind's blowing.
It's November.
No, it's December.
It was very cold anyways. And the wind is whistling through my house. It's blowing so hard. It is terrible. And I said, Stick, we might as well go back to bed. And I said, we're showing up at the F-Road ramp this morning, and there's going to be me and you. And he's like, no, they'll be there. And I said, bull crap. There is not going to be anybody there. He said, I swear to you, they'll be there. He said, we might break for breakfast, but he said, we'll still be there, and we'll go fishing sometime today. I said, them guys are not that serious. Well, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but in the wintertime, I am a professional crappie killer. I'm not a catcher. I'm a killer. I kill them. I eat them. Lots of them. Needless to say, we show up. There's 20 boats.
We're the last ones at the ramp.
We're the last ones to show up. There's guys putting in. I'm like, holy crap, these guys are serious. We take off. We go out there, and we was only going to fish till noon. And you had to bring in what you caught because they were going to have a little fish fry right in the launch ramp.
And with the beginning, Dion goes, how many are we weighing in? 7?
Yeah.
They're like, nope, we're weighing in 30. Weigh them all in.
Oh, it's a double limit tournament.
Yeah, they said, no, bring in your 30. That way we can have a good fish fry. And I'm like, good. There we go. We take off. Well, let
me talk about this boat ride. So the wind's blowing, and I feel this water hit me in the face. And I look over, and he's laughing. Water's just splashing me in the face. Spitting snow. Yeah. It was fun.
It was fun.
We fished. Anyways, to make a long story short, we fished. We bashed them. We caught them, and we come back to the weigh-in, and we get to the weigh-in, and this is all of the store managers, so we've got some heavy hitters in his company, that he works for. And he comes back down to the boat, and he went to get the truck, and he goes to get the truck, and because we're gonna all pull out and wear fish and everything.
They didn't even get the scales out.
And he gets up there, and he says, I'm not sure what we're gonna do. And I said, what do you mean, what are we gonna do? He says, I think we're the only ones got any. And I'm like, surely not. I said, hell, it wasn't that hard, We had probably, I don't know. We probably brought in we had 30. We know that because we counted them. But we'd probably caught 50 or so crappie that morning. And he says, no kidding. He says, the store manager from Springfield, he says, I think he's got 3. And Jackie and Jimmy Davis were in it, and they had like 2 or 3 apiece. He said, no, really? He says, I don't think anybody's got them at all. I said, well, at least we caught enough for a fish fry, and
for 2.
He's and Stick the whole time, and I didn't realize at all what he's getting at, but I think he's thinking, oh, I'm gonna get fired. They're gonna ask me never to show back up at Bass Pro, and then his store manager is setting one boat over from us, and he pulls in. He says, well, I heard you guys caught them. And I said, yeah, we caught some. I said, we really ain't got no big ones. But I said, we got our limit. He says, your limit? He said, you guys got 30? And I said, yeah, that's what we're supposed to have, right? And I said, why? Was the limit more or less or what? I said, because we can go back. And he's like, no. He said, nobody else has got them. And I said, well, that's bad. I said, bad for you all. I said, because we got him, we caught him. He says, well, at least I caught a big one on a jerk bait. And he pulls one out of the live well. And it's a nice one.
The first 7 I pull out of the live well are bigger.
And the first 7 that he puts in the bag, I mean, his boss is like, oh, yeah, I'm going to fire your ass. As soon as, I mean, because he was just sure he had one big one, that he was going to at least win big crappie out of the deal. Nah. No, the first half limit we pulled out of the box was all bigger than his. And, yeah, needless to say, I don't think you worked for him, but just a couple more months or something like that.
No, I worked a few more years.
A few more years, yeah. But I can tell you right now, we were never invited back to the manager's tournament, ever.
Yeah, no. That's what happens when you bring a ringer,
They said I could, so.
All right.
It was their fault. They did it.
So outside of the Hibdon family, tell us about some of the fishermen you've been lucky to be around when you had your stint at Bass Pro. Besides all of them, because you have, right?
Well, I mean, I've been around all of them.
Any good experiences? Any good stories? I'm not putting you on the spot, but you got something that maybe sit outside. That all those spring classics and all those seminars and all those deals where you sit in the store.
Well, I mean,
or are they all the same? They're just buttholes like Dion.
No, I mean, most of the thing. The cool part is I got to take a lot of them back and forth to the airport.
Yeah,
I
can see that.
I had to drive Van Dam around one day back and forth to filming and from corporate and the store.
And for those that don't know, good guy, fair guy.
Yeah, he was good.
Arrogant?
No.
I don't think I wouldn't ask that because I don't think he is. But
no, he's not.
Yeah. So yeah. Let's see. So you leave Bass Pro and you're convinced to take a trip over to a newfounded company that they're reinventing an old fishing reel and bringing it back, and that was Lou's.
Yes.
So they built another flagship store in Springfield, put you at the helm. How was that experience for you?
That was a really good experience. It just grew and grew and grew, and just corporations took it over, and they decided to shut the Springfield part down and move everything to South.
That was the Strike King merger, correct?
It was after the Strike King.
After Strike King, right. They bought it and then merged it with Strike King and then moved it.
Yep.
Then you were out of work.
No, actually,
did you have a job? Did you get the job before
I had
the
Baitworks job was lined up.
Yeah, all right.
Before that, because we all knew that was taking place.
Got to back up a little bit because the whole Lou story is kind of a cool story, and a lot of people maybe don't know that, but there were executives at Bass Pro actually left Bass Pro and started Lou's. One being Lynn Reeves, and I think Lovin was involved too, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Jim Lovin, which he's going to be on the show at some point too, and those guys took an old famous brand and really put it back on the map today where it's at. It was a neat thing to watch, from an outside angler. Seeing them revitalize that and put it back in. It's pretty cool.
Lynn put a lot of effort into that.
Yeah. It's kind of funny, though, because my dad is an antique lure collector and he does reels. And we had old, like the Lou Childers reels, and he was putting them on eBay. And they kept going to Springfield, Well, turns out that the guys down there were buying them and putting them in the museum.
Yeah, Lynn
he was cornering the market on everything that we were selling there. If we'd known that, we just drove down there and got more money. Anyway, so it's gone.
Yeah.
Anyway, but Lou's isn't, and it's very successful and a very good line, and it's kind of cool that you were there when it all started.
Yeah,
the second time.
I guess Lynn started that back up a couple of years before I left Bass Pro.
Gotcha. And then you went over there. So store was cool. A lot of people went down there. It was a neat deal. So it was sad to see it go, but then here we are today. We can go ahead and call this the shameless plug section, can't we?
Sure.
You've seen the show. You know how this works. Now you get to promote yourself, and we're doing it kind of early. But yeah, so Baitworks, one hell of a facility in Springfield. They do website all over the world, and one tremendous stock of stuff.
Yes, they have a very massive warehouse.
And you said you were in the manufacturing aspect of it, so let's give us a little background on that one.
So, when I started at Baitworks, they had another company they called James River Tackle that was kind of a hobby. But since I was coming on board, they wanted to expand it out. So they're like, free reign, try to grow it. So we set up the Classic, met a couple of customers, and ended up drawing a couple big clients. One up in Minnesota being All Terrain Tackle. We pour a lot of their product. We do some stuff for Omega. I've done some stuff for a guy in Florida. And possibly I've got some other vendors lined up too that getting ready to meet with.
And you have your own brand of baits.
Yes, we have our own brand of baits.
It's called Valor, correct?
Yes.
Okay, Valor baits. Yep.
And in that Valor line, known Dion darn near my whole life, and now I get to build his jig.
That's right. And we're a small retailer as well. I mean, the hammer jig has been a big one. I think a few shows back, you gave a pile of them. We gave them away to the guys in the crowd, and it's a cool deal. It's really neat. The part that kind of surprised me a little bit is that from all your retail days, I've never heard any story about you actually being in the manufacturing process.
No.
So this was a new undertaking for you.
Kind of a new undertaking. But when you sit around in a shop with Dion and Guido for all those years, you learn a lot of things.
If anybody's ever, there's a lot of people that did experience the shop, and the multiple shops, and it's kind of hard to even explain to people what it's like. But I'd like for you to try from your perspective.
There's no way to explain those shops.
Yep, and it's not. And I guess I'm not being mean, Dion, by any means. It wasn't high tech.
No, there was nothing high tech about it at all.
The only thing high tech was Dad.
That's right.
That was the high tech.
Yeah, but you go in there.
Everything else was pretty much ground out with hammers and chisels. That's that type of situation.
Modifications.
That's right.
And trying to figure out how things work better. And that was one of the online questions we had. Let me see where that's at. So, what's Dick's next lure creation going to be?
I don't know. There's some things in the works. Can't say yet.
Oh my gosh!
Nope, not yet.
So I say in the works.
I mean, this
hard
is something
bait, plastics, jig.
It'll be lead based. This is actually
a lead based product. Okay.
Yes, this is something we actually were messing with today.
Really?
Yep.
What color?
Unpainted.
No, I'm kidding. Unpainted.
Lead.
Lead.
So what's the hot thing out there right now? What you got? I mean, from your perspective and what's going on in the industry, what's ticking everybody's checkbook right now? What's getting to pull out the money and buy? What is it? What's the hot lure this year?
But it's all forward-facing sonar.
So single baits,
minnow heads.
Yep. Swim bait heads.
Now,
I mean, I'm not just talking about Valor and talking about your jig form, but you guys literally carry a lot of really high-end, nice tackle, and I think that kind of separates you from all the rest. I think you're, and correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of mega bass, a lot of high-end rods, a lot of, and you sell the other stuff too. But I mean, it's all forward-facing from your perspective.
It seems to be forward-facing, yes.
You like that?
No.
Okay, I just curious.
I mean, it doesn't bother me. I mean, I have it on my boat.
As long as they're buying it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole goal, but...
he sells jig heads.
Yeah.
That's his job. So, yep, it's not going to bother him.
It's not going to bother me a bit.
Right.
Yeah, no, but
Scared or no scared, I don't care.
No, I don't mean it by that. I'm just saying that it's a lot easier to sell a bait with no action that they use to throw out in front of them and watch on TV screen. Do you kind of miss some of the innovations that just really aren't there? Because, and I'm not attacking it. I'm just saying that forward-facing sonar baits have little to no action, and it goes back to the days where the finesse minnow. We talked about that before. It's a fork-tail fluke. Those things are kind of the predecessor to the forward-facing baits, and we're seeing more and more. They're saying it has no action. It's great for forward-facing sonar, and we kind of all grew up on you wanted more action, and you wanted to do more things, and you wanted pinchers to float, and you wanted all of this stuff, and it's kind of, to me, it's gotten a little boring. When you want to talk about it, it's like, no, you just fling this one out. It'll work.
I mean, if you're going to compete in tournaments, you've got to have it.
Well, so you're not fishing tournaments. Let's say you're a recreational angler, then what?
It's like anything else, though. I mean, the time that you have to put in with the proper jig heads and hooks,
sure,
and stuff for that type of situation, we've had to kind of revert back a little ways. Used to be when the shaky head first came about, there was 10 different kinds of shaky heads, and you kind of had to settle in with what you thought was the best one. Well, now you got a lead-headed jig of some sort. So now you're back to messing with hooks, getting the right hook set up, and different things and different head styles and stuff like that for forward-facing sonar. You got to come up with something that looks right.
You hit a nerve with me, so we can get into our tech talk here. So let's talk hooks for a little bit, Stick. Is there a hook that stands out? And let's say we're talking about a swim bait head or a live scope head or even a shaky head. What do you prefer? Not what you sell. What do you prefer? Do you like the standard round bend on a shaky head? Do you like offset hook? What's everybody buying right now?
I mean, shaky head, I prefer a round bend hook.
Just a round, you like long shaft or short shaft?
5/0.
5/0. We got into a big long discussion with some guys today on shaky heads and hooks, and there's just it's getting to the point, like you said, there's so many variations of hooks. Now you can get an offset worm style hook in one, and with a football head, and you can get a round head with a short round bend. You get a magnum long hook, a light wire, heavy wire. And I know it's all application, but man, you start looking at the options that you have. There's literally 50, 60 different options, not including the weight. I mean, how do you steer a guy the right direction if you're trying to sell him that kind of stuff?
Start out with 1/4 ounce. Just start out with a quarter. But you look at shaky head. Okay, are you shaky head in a Zoom swamp crawler? Or are you shaky head in a Zoom Magnum trickworm?
Right.
That depends on what head you would want to use.
Okay, now with that being said, we've touched it a little bit, and you can either agree or disagree. A smaller bait will require a smaller gap hook. Yes or no?
I prefer yes,
So,
but some people may not.
but if you go to like let's say you have a 3/0 small round bend hook, and you've got a Magnum trickworm, which is big like a cigar, that hook probably isn't an ideal hook.
No.
So you want to step up to a bigger hook. And I'm just trying to educate some people out there on, we've talked about it in the past, but you're supposed to be the expert on this. So you got to tell us what the hell's going on here, man.
Stick. I hate to say it, but Stick grew up watching the right guy.
Yeah.
My dad was very, very shrewd when it comes to his jig heads and stuff like that, and how he built them and how he designed them and different things like that. So Stick came from information that most people didn't get.
Right.
So he knows exactly what's right.
It's my job trying to extract it.
That's right.
That's what I'm doing. Not picking on you.
I know.
Give up the secrets, man. Let's go.
But it's
You can't
it's one
talk
of
golf
those
until you give up a
deals that,
secret.
A lot of Stick's opinions are going to hit real close to home with mine.
Sure.
And it's because we learned from the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times. He also ran
Not-
with the Eakins.
Not entirely, because your earnings versus his earnings, he didn't listen that closely.
He didn't fish that much.
Okay, I'm just saying.
that
I'm
was
gonna
1
tell you
year.
right now.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now. I can't ever remember Stick getting to fish very much at all.
Do you
He
get to
doesn't
fish?
get to.
Do you get to fish now at all?
No, I just soon
You-
play golf.
You just soon playing golf. I got you. We'll get to that. We'll figure that out.
I still make him go a couple times a year with me.
Yeah. Okay.
It's strictly for fun.
The event that Dion won at Lake of the Ozarks, I was staying with his mom and dad.
Okay.
And we're out in the shop right before we go to the meeting on Tuesday night, because that year everybody fished Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and the top 10 fished on Saturday.
Right.
Well, I can remember us all sitting out there in that shop Tuesday before we get ready to go to the meeting, and Guido looks me square in the eyes and says, "I hope you don't draw either one of us, because you'll hate us by the end of the day, because we ain't giving you no water to fish."
That's a fact.
That's the way it works. Yeah.
And I'm like, I understand.
Yeah.
My co-angler on the top 10 day.
Which, by the way, Stella said hello. By the way,
My
online.
co-angler-
Hello, Mama Stella.
My co-angler on the final day was my dad's partner the first day, and so he got some really, really good experience, and he did win the tournament. But like I say, it was solely because we were really, really around them and had them figured out pretty good. So by the time he got to the final day when he fished with me, yeah, he knew exactly where they were at. I mean, he had already seen it happen, and so any cast that I missed, he took advantage of, and that's the way you're supposed to do it. Use his head.
Nice. So I'm getting into an industry story here, but I'm going to set you up below here first. Okay.
Okay.
We've mentioned forward facing technology and these baits and high end baits, and the question I'm going to ask you is, and if you don't know the answer, no one that has been on the show yet can answer this, but can you name 5 of the hottest new young anglers out there on the tours?
Trey McKinney.
Nope. Okay.
Nope.
So
There you go. There you go.
Today in the
It's hard to
news,
do.
I read about. Do you know the name Derek Hudnall?
Yep.
Do you know he quit today?
Really?
He
Yeah,
quit. He quit
yeah.
professional fishing today.
Because
He
Well-
ran out of money.
He ran out of
well,
money. You know,
that happens every day.
but
You just don't hear about it.
But here's where social media goes. He makes this production, and he says, I put some quotes in here. He drops out of elites after 6 years. and he said it was due to financial constraints. Okay, but he went on to say that he didn't work hard enough, and he takes full responsibility for everything he did in his professional career. But on the same token, he turned around and said, "But if you aren't an upper class of money winners, you can't compete." And I thought that's kind of two sided there. It's just I don't understand how you can say that when, and he's saying that he described it as a quote a major partnership cut. So, which what that means is half the sponsors left him. He wasn't performing, but he started in. It's like there's three things you have to have, and we all agree this. You have to have some kind of faith in what you do. You have to have support at home, and you have to have the financial resources to do it. He said those are the three secrets to being in competitive bass fishing. But then he said that's all you need, and you need a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
And he said, and if you don't have a whole lot of money, you can't fish.
No.
And I think it was his way and a nice way of saying this has gotten out of hand, and I can't do it anymore. So he bailed, took an early retirement.
This happens, just with the internet. You heard about it, okay? It happens every day. It's not just him this year. There's 20 other guys that will never ever fish professional tournaments again after this season. It's a big number, and it really blows you away how much, because everybody out there that fishes and chases around these tournaments, everybody thinks, oh, those guys are millionaires.
Mm-hmm.
If they are, they started with it. They didn't get it from our industry because our industry doesn't have it to give right now.
Well, and that's
that's just the way it is, and it's sad. Do I hate it for that fella? Yep. Mm-hmm. Guess what? I've won 2 world championships. I couldn't do it right now if I wanted to.
Right.
That's how tough it is this day in this industry. My son, I would put my son against anybody on the planet when it comes to raw fishing talent. Kid's got it, but there's no way for him to do it right this minute.
Right.
And it's all financial. I mean, I'd like to say that it's not that way, but guess what? If the truth was known, I bet you out of how many people fish the elites? 100? Is it 100 or 100?
Dude, I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't either. But I bet you out of the 100 Elite Series guys that are fishing, I bet you it's a minimum of 50% of them are so far into debt that they can't come out.
Yeah, and he talked about $150,000 boats, $150,000 trucks, and entry fees, and all of these things.
And I bet you 50% I'm not far off.
No.
I mean, with the Elite Series anglers, because the money's just not there like it used to be.
Right.
The sponsorship money's not there, and you can't do it off of winning. There's nobody that good. Guess what? Kevin Van Dam got out of it. There's nobody that good. You can't make it off your winning.
But he didn't have to fish anymore. He's accomplished everything he's accomplished.
Yep.
I think he's done well. Now he didn't have to go out and prove anymore.
Nope. He's just like my dad.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool.
Why hurt yourself and why wear yourself out when you've already done pretty much everything you can do in the sport?
Right.
And why bleed your money down to where you got nothing?
Right.
I
got you. But so I said I was going to set you up with a big punt, right? So you see where I'm going with this, and we're talking about these financial constraints with anglers. But the bigger question is and you've seen this, not personally, but you've seen corporation after corporation buying small tackle manufacturers out, and those sponsor dollars decline because if a guy owns 30 labels, he only needs one angler to represent 30 labels instead of one. And I guess the question is that is Baitworks ever going to do that?
I don't know.
You think that'll be one of those that get pulled in by another corporate company?
I don't think so.
Yep. And I'm not putting on. You don't know. I mean, I
don't know. I don't think it would happen.
But do you think that that's part of the problem? These guys can't get sponsor dollars right now, in the level that we all used to 30 years ago. Or do you think it's because these corporations are enveloping more labels, or there's not new Baitworks companies out there manufacturing?
I just think it's all the guys are trying to fight over the same sponsor dollars. There's just not enough spots.
Yeah, it's an interesting subject. It really is. But change the subject.
It's not a fun one to talk about.
It's not, but I think people want to know. You know, I think they do. You don't like talking about it. I like talking about it.
BASS did an article. It's about 15 years ago, and they they actually did it on like the top 5 anglers at that point in time. They thought, and what they actually made, and that was the biggest freaking hoax ever put in writing ever. I mean, because at that point in time, my dad was still alive, and my dad's like, how can they lie to these people like that? You know, that's what they make, and that's what they make annually off of sponsorship money and stuff like that. Because at one point in time, guess what? Me and my father were those people. We were rolling in it as far as making money off of everybody we dealt with. And it's just the facts are not there. They make this whole deal look really, really spectacular. And it's because we drive around $150,000 rigs. You know, you got an $80,000 pickup, you got a $100,000 boat anymore, and everybody looks at him like, wow, that guy's got to be rich. Yeah. And really, these guys are so far into debt. It's
today's
so
young
sad.
anglers making payments.
Yes, yeah. And it's so sad to see guys come out there and spend a couple of years, and they just don't quite get it pulled off. They just don't win the right one. And guess what? That guy goes so far into debt in a couple of years' time, he's done.
Yeah.
He may never come back to the sport in any capacity again.
He may never survive it.
He may never survive it. That's right.
Yeah.
You know? And you know, that young man there, you were talking about, he fished the elites for how many years? 5 or 6?
He was 6 years in the elites.
That's a pretty good run.
A 9-year pro angler.
That's a pretty good run.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I mean, you know,
I'm sure he made a little money.
There's not very many guys like me, Ricky Klung, you know, 30 years.
Did you say Ricky Gong?
Ricky Klung.
Oh, gotcha.
No, I said
Gong. Ricky Gong.
There's not many guys like that, you know. That's just the way of our sport in this day and age. People's careers are much shorter, you know, because the money's just not there. Right. You know, it's just not there. And you know, when you go to talking, you know, house payments and stuff like that, it gets hard. Yeah. And you got to make life decisions, and people look at fishing very much like it's just a fun deal. Yeah. And it is a fun deal.
But so, and I think I didn't want to be a Debbie Downer tonight. I was just bringing that up because they're using social media to tell more of that story that we've all known for a long time.
Yes.
You know, and it's just fascinating that somebody's going to take to social media, stand in front of this camera, and say, "I can't afford it anymore, dude." You know, it's like, my sponsors were great, but I just can't do it.
I don't know that boy from Adam's House Cat.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of him.
Yeah, I mean,
because most guys just disappear into the woodwork. They're just gone.
I mean, he took the time to thank everybody. He said, if I had all the money in the world, he said, I would still support the sponsors that took care of me. Yep. He said, I wouldn't have changed anything. So, matter of fact, he said, I take that back. He said, I would never took a sponsor. He said, I would have spent money. Yeah. He said, nothing. Money doesn't change an angler. He said it just allows him to compete.
There's a lot of great fishermen out there. Lots of them.
Yep. So let me change the subject.
Most of them have never fished a bass tournament.
Oh yeah.
Ever. You know?
Oh, I know. There's always that guy on the dock that catches a big 10-pounder.
It's crazy what our sport has turned into. You know, and like I say, am I knocking it? Nope. Made myself a great living. I had a wonderful life. So, I mean, simple as that, and I enjoyed every minute of it. But in this day and age, that got it ain't easy.
Yeah, I hear you. So let me change the subject. Since we're on that, let's get off of BSS. Let's get on to MLF now. Our boys at MLF made the news again. You ready for this one?
What?
Let me guess. The Zach Burge?
Yes, Zach Burge.
Yes.
I love it.
What happened?
Okay, so here we go. You ready? We got a penalty. If we fished a tournament. Zach was in day 2 or 3, the championship round.
Championship round.
He was in the top 10.
Zach went to the tournament director, championship morning, says, "Hey, can I put water in my boat to lower it to go under a bridge?
Can I flood the boat to get under a low water bridge to access unaccessible water?"
And the tournament director says, "Yes, you can."
No problem. You can do that. So he goes out and he fishes, but the judge in the boat did not realize he was going to get out of his boat to go behind the boat to take the plug out. So he exited the boat to take his plug out. But you can't leave fishable waters to access other water. You follow me?
Yep.
You with me so far? So they DQ'd him. Okay? Even though he had permission to flood his boat, he didn't have permission to get out of his boat to access an inaccessible water. So he unscrewed his plug and he was in the lake, so they DQ'd him. Okay? You see where this is going?
Yeah, I'm listening.
So they have a long discussion about it, and they reinstate it. So they put him back in. He ends up finished 7th. He has 14 some pounds. He gets 7th. Okay? Here's where I thought it was kind of funny, and this is where I think MLF is just stupid. I mean, they're really, really stupid on this. The 9th place guy had 14 pounds, or 11 pounds. I think it was 11 pounds. He had 11 pounds. He had 25. So his 14-pound DQ moved him down 1 spot. So he wouldn't have got DQ'd. Even if he got DQ'd for that day, he would have finished 8th instead of 7th. Make sense? So it's a $2,000 difference in the payout. So all of this issue that they had was really over $2,000 in 1 spot in the payout. Should they have done it at all? Because all this did was stir up another storm amongst all their fans going, what in the heck are you guys thinking?
But I also think, I can't confirm this, but I heard that the marshal in Burgess' boat was the assistant tournament director. Was marshaling that day.
I believe that's the same story that I read.
Well, it kind of depends on how he did it. I mean, if he just jumps in the lake, then yeah, that's illegal.
Yeah, well, I mean,
but if he slipped over the side of the boat and hung on to the boat and then reached down under there and did it, there's nothing illegal about that because he's still in the boat.
I think all three of us can agree that's impossible anymore on today's boats. That plug is way back up underneath there.
I don't have to get under my boat to take
because
my
it
plug
has
out.
remote drain
It
plug.
has a remote
There are
and
two
I
boat
think-
I know of 2 boat companies that do not like to use the remote drain plug. I won't name names, but there are 2
No,
companies.
it's fine.
that
Doesn't
don't
matter.
name names.
But
This
the
is such,
point, yeah, stupidity.
This is such ignorant stuff. I mean, you have a problem.
But we're talking,
Okay.
Dion. We're talking to a guy who got DQ'd because a cameraman grabbed a tree.
That's right.
You know, there's some dumb stuff out there.
There's
you
some
know?
really, really
So-
ignorant stuff that happens, but mine was clear and present. My DQ happened, and it was supposed to happen. Did I create it? Nope. But it happened, and I saw it happen on film with everybody else. So I saw it happen. I know that it happened. But like this deal here, why is the assistant tournament director in that frickin' boat?
In the first place,
Why is he in there?
don't know.
I mean, what's the deal?
Mhm.
And the thing of it is, how did they change the rules midstream, in the middle of the tournament?
Well,
They basically changed a ruling, either he disqualified or he is not.
right.
And,
Well, and they chose to disqualify him.
and guess what? You're done.
And
You
then
missed it.
And
You're out.
and then they
Do I
changed
like
their
Zach
mind.
Burge? I think Zach Burge is one of the better guys, young guys out there right now. Really super nice kid.
No,
But-
I mean you got. But let's break it down. He went and asked. You know, he didn't do
He
it.
tried not to break a rule.
He tried not to break a rule, but apparently there's 2 levels of the rule. Number one, you know, they thought to themselves, okay, as a tournament director, I can see this. Okay, he's gonna flood his boat. He's not doing anything. He's not accessing inaccessible water because we all know we've all flooded our boats, except for you. You never flooded your boat unless it rained. But we've all flooded our boats, you know. But the rule says you cannot exit the boat to access fishable water, and that's where the problem came in.
If he turned loose of the boat to get his plug out, yes.
Yeah. I didn't
But,
read that
but
part.
but if he didn't, boy, I'd make him give me my $2,000 back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That the guy, the 8th place guy, got shorted $2,000 over it.
It-
know?
it-
They all got paid.
some of the petty stuff that's going on right now, holy crap!
I just kind of want your take on the rules there.
Tournament directors, you wouldn't want to die and be reincarnated as a tournament director in a professional tournament because nobody likes you. It's like a lawyer. Nobody likes them. but you have to deal with them. And the thing of it is, you have to be cut and dry. There is no gray area in tournament rules.
You have to be consistent.
Yes,
Consistent
totally consistent.
is the rule.
Yep. You know, and I've seen it both ways. I've been with tournament directors that the gray area is where they dwell. That's where they made their living. And I have also been with tournament directors like Harold Sharp that he would have disqualified his mother in a bass tournament.
I think
if she broke the rules, she's out.
I think Ernie Daugherty would have done the
Ernie
same.
Daugherty, the same way.
He was by far the best tournament director I ever been.
I've got to see the two best tournament directors ever to walk the planet, and that was Harold Sharp and Ernie Daugherty. And they took no crap from nobody. I saw Ernie Daugherty tell Roland Martin and Jimmy Houston to sit down and shut up, or they would not fish the next day.
This was during the Legends event.
That was during a Legends event. There's 30 guys out there that's supposedly the greatest of all time in the sport, and he tells those two to sit down and shut up because they were ruining his meeting. He was having a meeting. Guess what? That's what you have to have. Crap like this, you know, it's kind of like the back down the road, Brian Thrift's little buddy, New.
Mm-hmm.
Washing out a fish. Do you know how many times I've done that in my life?
Talking about blowing them out with a propeller?
Blowing them out with the prop, with a trolling motor prop. I've done that 1,000 times.
What rule violation would that be?
Unsportsmanlike is what it ended up being.
Nice.
Okay?
Okay.
Because he didn't want another fisherman that was in that area to catch that bass.
Gotcha.
Oh, wait a minute. That's how it goes. I don't care if anybody else in the tournament catches one. I expect them not to.
Right.
If I'm going to win, guess what? I'll go to pretty much any length to do it. Blowing out a fish, washing a fish off of a bed, that's how you make them bite sometimes.
Well,
Lots of times.
That's what I thought you were talking about, because a lot of times
Spook them off, make them come back.
We had the story about spawning fish. You throw a few pebbles up there to spook them off to get them to bite.
But
but if he's trying to intentionally disable another angler, different. But is that that's gaining a competitive advantage? Correct.
That's kind of why you're out there. You want to be first place.
The crazy
not second
part.
place. You don't want that guy that's in there with you to catch that 6-pounder. If I can go in there an hour later and catch it.
Let's break this down just real quick though. Do you think that fish was not enough for him to cull? He probably had 4-pounders and that was a 3-pounder.
No.
I mean, because he wouldn't.
No, it was a big one, or he wouldn't have jacked with it.
But he blew it out. He just run out of time.
No, he blew it out because he wanted to catch it the next day.
Gotcha.
That was the first day of the tournament.
I gotcha. Okay. Just getting her squared away there, man.
Now that's all on the internet. And you know the internet. It must be true.
It must be true. That's right.
It must be true. But and that's also another angler saying that he did that from a distance.
Gotcha. So he really didn't from a distance.
Was he in the boat with him?
That's
and supposedly that his co-anglers said that he did it. Well, guess what? If my co-anglers are in the boat with me and they see me whoosh one off bed, do they know I'm doing it for what reason? Yeah. Did Brian New tell them, hey, I did that so that guy wouldn't catch him? No, he's not that stupid.
Right.
But he probably did tell him, I'm going to spook this one out of here and let me come back in an hour when it's rebuilding its bed and catch it.
Right.
Maybe he didn't explain himself why he did it.
Right.
But that's the internet for you right now. They're going to bend it and break it and twist it into whatever they want you to hear about.
Sure.
That deal right there, that to me, that's pathetic.
Yeah.
That's truly pathetic. If a tournament director told him he could sink his boat, okay,
get under a bridge.
That's fine. You can sink your boat. Now, I'm pretty sure that they have penalties.
That's right.
You can get out of your boat to land a fish.
Correct.
But it cost you so many minutes the next day.
Yeah,
I think
it's like 15. It's like a 15-minute penalty to get out of your boat.
It's like a 15-minute penalty to land a bass, but you can get out of your boat to do it.
Right. And
because I seen a guy jump out on a dock one time. and then they're gonna cull that guy for getting out of his boat after he's been told.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Oh yeah, that's good stuff.
So what do you think, Stick? DQ or no DQ?
No DQ.
No DQ. All right. Are you the same? Same place there. No DQ.
I can't believe.
So they never should DQ to begin with. That's it. The moral of the story is that was dumb to begin with. They said you're going to flood the boat. You flood the boat any means necessary.
You have what you've done there is you have the guy that's supposedly the second in command for
if
for
that's true,
enforcing
yeah,
the rules.
if it's true,
If that's true,
yeah.
you have the guy that's second in command for enforcing the rules, trying to exert himself and show everybody, hey, I'm the boss.
Mm-hmm.
But that's freaking pathetic as far as I'm concerned.
So yeah, that's
Bass fishing was so much easier when there was less rules.
it was.
But less rules were strictly enforced. Strictly enforced.
I remember there was a tournament director for BSS, and I can't remember where I heard the story from, but when it was you couldn't fish 50 foot from a gas dock, there was a BSS guy who had a rock and 50 foot of rope, and when an angler come by, he'd actually throw the rock out there, and if he hit him, you're done. And I think that was that Dewey.
Dewey Kendrick did it.
I think it was Dewey Kendricks that did that. Yep.
On Lake Murray to actually a buddy of mine, Randy Mosley.
Really?
I mean,
so you heard that story
Lake
too?
In the Ozarks.
Yep. Or as a weight or something, but he would throw the line out there to make sure that. I mean, that's back before we had technology where they could probably just take a golf range, shoot them.
No, I mean that's the thing in this day and age. There should be no gray areas in the rules, and the set of rules that you start the tournament with, that's the ones you end the tournament with.
Yeah.
Agreed. And trust me, I've been on the bad way of that a couple times. I've protested a couple guys in my life, and the gray area let them escape.
Yeah.
You just talked about one of them just a few minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
The tournament at Lake Champlain, New York.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. So
with all the legends around you.
The legend beat me by
5/10.
Yeah,
whatever it
something
was.
Crazy like that. And the guy that helped him win the tournament showed up to the weigh-in.
Yep. I think I remember that story
and was
too.
mad because he did not get the boat that Roland promised him to have.
That's right. They won a boat, didn't they?
Yeah,
you won. He didn't give him. Yeah, he
then.
didn't give him.
The top three, you won a boat. Well, this guy just naturally assumed he was going to get the boat that Roland won. And for some reason, in that tournament, Roland fished out of his camera boat. His 5-year-old camera boat.
Right.
Is what he fished the tournament out of, and that's what he gave the guy.
Gotcha.
For helping him win the tournament. And in no uncertain terms, are you allowed to pay to get help to win a bass tournament? And that dude showed up at the tournament, at the weigh-in, requesting his boat. And when Roland told him what he was going to give him, he said, that one's mine right there. That brand new one you won. And that guy threw a hissy right there. And Dewey Kendrick stood right there and talked to him about it.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? I still finished second. I did not get bumped up to winning. So those gray areas kind of suck.
Gotcha.
And I've seen it happen. But it's hard. It's hard in this day and age. Penalties should not be allowed in bass tournaments. There should not be, hey, you got a 15-minute penalty for tomorrow, or you got penalized $10,000 for breaking this rule or something like that. Because if you get penalized, that means you broke a rule. Period. There is no gray area. If you broke a rule bad enough that it's down to, okay, I broke a rule. If you break a rule in baseball, what happens? You're out. It's simple as that. If you break a rule in any other sport, you're done. You lost it for that day. You're not allowed to win.
Well, maybe in bass fishing they'd be a little more sympathetic to their feelings.
Yeah, well, bass fishermen need to suck it up and get some tougher feelings. I mean, yeah.
Oh, mercy!
They should have started back in the 80s.
I hear you.
In the 80s, because those guys didn't care who you were.
All right,
they wanted to take your money.
I'm putting this story to bed. Stick, what's down the road for Baitworks? What do you got coming? I know you don't talk about developmental, but you're developing some new stuff, possibly.
Yeah, possibly developing some new stuff.
Stock is good right now.
Yeah.
Right. How do we see you? How do we buy you? What do we do? It's shameless plug time. Tell the story.
www.bait-wrx.com.
There you go.
That's our online
store. Or you can visit in person.
Yes, in Springfield,
Stores where?
Missouri.
What's the address?
310 South Ingram Mill Road.
So, to all the people listening to us all over the world, because we are worldwide, you can go to the worldwide interwebs and get you a lure or two.
Yeah.
And it's a great store. Got lots of new stuff, lots of stuff that you wouldn't see in any other store.
Yeah,
really.
tell them
I mean,
Real Unfiltered Talk sent you and you get a 40% discount.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. That's not the truth. Stick's like kicking me under the table.
Yeah, don't give him no free jig.
Yeah.
Charge him double for Hibdon sandwich.
Yep. Angler of the week, Dion. You got anybody?
I don't know. They caught him this last week.
I think shout out to everybody that did over 20 pounds this week.
Yeah, they whacked him here at
something
home.
else. Yep.
Lake of the Ozarks was on fire last week.
It is.
What's the boy's name that won?
Brock Bila.
Brock Bila.
Bila with a B.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
He won.
The Bass
The
and Bob.
Bass and
Bob
Bob deal,
tournament,
2-day deal. Him and your buddy, the boy.
Michael
Harlan
Harlan
finished second. Lawson, my son, finished third. And they were all within 4 ounces of each
Yep.
other. They caught
Big strings.
43 pounds.
Yep.
I think what they ended up having.
And
for
that's
2 days.
it's staying consistent in every small tournament.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Lawson
big tournament. They're night tournaments. They're
Lawson
catching
had-
good fish.
Lawson had like 21 on Saturday night too.
And I would say that's not just relative to this lake. I bet you probably Table Rock's pushing out some pretty good numbers
Table
right
Rock's
now
been
too,
putting
and
out some numbers.
Palmy and Stockton and probably
Stockton not pushing out nothing.
I'm just being nice. You
I mean,
find a little quiet lake,
well,
have a little fun.
Stockton. Last week they had a 20 boat tournament up there and 10 pounds on it,
Yeah, that's good for Stockton.
and that was all
No,
smallmouth.
I don't
It's
like
not.
Stockton, Dion. Ugh.
The great thing about it is where we live, we really do have some good water. I mean, Stockton, Palm de Terre, Lake of the Ozarks, Table Rock.
Bull
I mean,
Shoals,
you know, Truman,
Norfolk.
Bull Shoals, Norfolk.
Mark
Well,
Twain.
Should have thrown Norfolk in there. That's not that
Mark
great.
Twain, Truman.
Mark Twain. No, don't go to Mark Twain. It's terrible.
I heard it was really coming on.
No, it's
Bastards.
not.
I
Who told you that? Somebody's
got
lying to you.
my bait supplier.
Your baits.
He's up in Perry, Missouri. He said that
That's
Twain's making a comeback. He said
Really?
there's some 14-inch bass in there. No, I'm kidding.
Well, what about all those years we spent at Beaver?
Beaver's good.
You know the crazy thing about it is, beavers are really. You think about that. My dad always loved going to Beaver.
Your dad loved going to
He
Beaver.
loved going to Beaver because you just catch tons of fish. You catch lots of fish, lots of different size fish. It ain't always about those giants, you know. And
You want to hear a good Beaver Lake story?
After you tell me what your favorite lake is.
Stockton, because it's the lake I grew up on.
All right, very good. All right, let's hear a Beaver story, and then we're going to wrap it up for the night.
Well, Dion and I were practicing for an FLW. This was before they had any off limits. I'd go down and stay with them week and a half at a time. Well, I got in Dion's tackle box and pointed out a little pointer 78 Lucky Crab.
Color?
Table
Table Rock Shad.
go ahead,
And I'm
sorry.
going, and it's the only one he's got in his box. And I'm catching fish on it, and Dion's like, Dion calls his mom. She runs up tackle shop to get more. Well, I make an errant cast. Wraps around a tree up on a bluff. Guess where that boat went? Straight to the bank. And someone had to climb that bluff. And then someone threw me a machete up there, and I had to chop that tree down.
Chop tree down, get my damn pointer back.
And I didn't get to throw it the rest of the day.
He took it away from you?
Took it away from me.
Nice. Nice.
It can only be so nice. I mean,
That's the best story after 40 years of hanging around at the Hibdons is cutting down a tree to get a pointer back. That's the best
I
you
don't
I
think-
did throw a pair of his $30 scissors in Beaver.
yeah.
That's still the best you got.
That's the best we can tell.
We have told pooping stories.
It's
We
just
have told
It's the best he
the
can
craziest
tell.
stories we've ever had, and that's I bring you all the way up here from Springfield. That's the best you got, man.
That's the best he can give us, and still stay on TV.
Okay, that's fair.
Probably the best.
That's fair.
But here,
That's
before
fair.
we wrap it up, I'll tell you the story how I met Dion.
All right.
This all started with a 6th grade project. We had to draw something off a sports card. When the fishing cards were big,
Mhm.
I'm stumbling through them. Oh, that guy's from Missouri. I'm going to draw that one. So I drew it. Central Pro-Am tournament up at Stockton Lake. Jackie Davis was leading it the first day, and my dad worked with Jackie's dad at the railroad, and so Mom and Dad were like, let's go up and watch the weigh. So we go up and watch the weigh-in. Lo and behold, Dion is fishing the event. And I go up and ask for his autograph, and I tell him I have this picture, and his wife gives my mom the address, and I mail him the picture. That's how I met Dion.
Nice.
I still got that picture. It looks like a picture of the Michelin Man.
I was going to be really nice about it, but I was
Yeah,
thinking,
I knew you were
did
going
you have it in
there.
a pencil, or did you do it in crayon?
No, it was done in colored pencil.
Color pencil.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. We had a black beard back then. It was a little easier to color in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was a lot younger then. Yes.
Yep. When I was on BSS looking up the numbers, they still have your profile picture.
Well, hey, it's that picture that's that second picture over there from
Yep, the Chevy. That's the same one. Yeah.
Not the. It's the
where he's looking up
on
the
the
second
bottom
card.
where he's
Yeah.
looking up. Yep.
Yeah. For those who don't know, we've got some trading cards hanging on the wall. It's the one where he's looking up like he's like
I'm staring off to my next
Yeah.
good spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like one of those shots like this, where the high school picture.
But it was just a random. I just saw on the back of it he was from Missouri, and that's how that all got started.
On BSS, they still have your Chevy profile picture.
Do they? Well, that's
You still look
last
20.
time I caught them there.
Funny.
Even they try to remember the good stuff. Yeah.
You got a plug tonight, D?
Plug.
Shameless.
I tell you what. You talk about, you've asked Stick 2 or 3 times about Baitworks and stuff like that. Those guys, I've got other people's jigs. Not just the ones that they build for me, but I've got other stuff that they build. That really you need to go to the website and really look their stuff over. Because they got lots and lots of good stuff, good equipment, made by different people. And does the website show what you make, like for the Alabama kid and stuff? Everything. I mean,
Everything.
all the different baits
everything,
and stuff.
everything that we have in stock is online. It may not all be in the store, but if somebody comes in and they see it online, we can go in the back. And
every time I go down there, and plunder around through Stick's office, I come up with something that I'm fishing with now. I mean, it seems like every time I go down there, there's just some new innovation of some sort that I'm like, holy crap! How come I didn't think of that?
Right.
So it's all good stuff. I mean, you need to really. It's not just a shameless plug. Go to Baitworks, order your favorite 6-inch worms that you can buy anywhere. Go there and look through their stuff because they got.
You got to remember
really
too from
stuff.
the manufacturing side, you wholesale as well,
Mm-hmm.
limited.
Yeah.
But you do wholesale. We carry those jigs in our store too.
Sure.
So it's and it's my Baitworks story that I'll share. We had a company that we sold jigs here for over a decade, and their small company sold out, and it took a couple of orders bringing them in, and Stick making a special trip from Springfield to bring us jigs to understand that that's what we need to carry now, and it's our best-selling jig in the store now. There's something lacking out there in the industry right now. It's customer service, and Baitworks has got it. So
yeah,
it's a good company, and it's
They just
surprising
make
that
a
Stick got a job there. It's crazy.
they make a lot of good stuff, and they stay on top of the industry. They really do. They got a lot of good fishermen that work for them and help them out and stuff like that. Excluding myself, they make a lot of good. They make a lot of good decisions in fishing tackle
Except for some of the jig names, you shouldn't allow that to happen. Low back tat, bar fight.
Hey, those are some good names.
It works.
I don't know. Reaction Innovations did that too.
Yeah, but I took a different approach.
Okay.
Were
you the final stamp on that?
I was.
Okay.
But I mean, when Dion heard it, you can't say no.
Hey, you got to make a jig with a really long shank hook and like 3 strands, and call it the Stick Man jig. What do you think?
No.
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 All right. Pencil.
No.
All right. Might be neat. You gotta have a Stick Man jig.
One of these days, maybe.
All right. Cool. You got anything else, man?
Stick used to wrap my jigs.
I built all his jigs when he won at Lake of the Ozarks.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
When he won the Toyota.
You a fly
here.
tire?
No.
Or you just wrap?
Just
he
wrap
was really
jigs.
good at it. Because that's anybody that's ever done that. It's kind of a pain in the ass.
Me and his dad built those jigs
Ugh.
every night in the shop.
Yeah.
And his dad would take him a new batch every morning.
Yep.
And then when he won the FLW championship on the Red River, I was in the shop putting those skirts together.
But he was in Louisiana.
Well, before he left.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Just giving you a hard time.
Because I remember exactly what color it was.
See, you're a little closer. See, now we're finding out a little more. You had to get it out at the very end. You didn't want to talk. And now, oh, by the way, I spent all that time making jigs in the shop. It wasn't Guido anyway. You were the worker bee.
Yes, he was.
So
in a lot of ways.
So what you're saying is that the only way that Dion won the world championship in FLW is because you made the jigs.
Well, that was part of it. Yeah.
Put the skirts together, but they were doing a lot of other stuff too.
It takes a whole village.
Did you get the big lecture on how the colors have to be on the back just right?
Nope.
You never did. You knew it just by paying attention.
This guy ain't no chump. He knows.
I'm just
He knows how
asking.
to
Somebody
rig
has to
his
get that
jigs.
lecture at some point.
And I knew what days not to be there. When they were making tubes, I knew not to be there.
Yeah.
Some of that stuff wasn't so much fun.
Stinky. Hmm.
Yes.
You guys shoot any plastics down there?
No
Lucky.
plastics.
All right. Yeah. Right on. Spin machines and
Yep.
all that good stuff.
Spin
Do you
machines,
do
got
old
a powder.
school? You ever do any old school pour by hand stuff?
We do some
Like special?
prototype stuff.
Yeah.
Doing that with
Do you prefer a bottom feed when you hand pour? Or you like a ladle?
ladle.
Really? You know, everyone has their opinions there, but if you don't know what we're talking about, you can give us a shot there. So, and we'll talk about it.
Don't call the stick with that kind of question.
No.
He's not going to answer.
No, but speaking of questions, if you guys have any for future shows, you can always give us a shout at askrealtalk@gmail.com. Make sure to go to YouTube and subscribe and like. And we'll be airing on KRMS 32 TV. This episode will be going out there later on. And what else we got? We have, well, of course, we're on Facebook on both of our channels, and YouTube, and Apple. So if you want to stream the audio when you're driving down the road, you just give me a day to get it all uploaded, and you can listen to that too. So yeah, that's all my plugs for the show, and we'd like to thank Brian Osage Outdoors for giving us this little studio, and thanks Sticks for coming all the way down.
No
I appreciate
problem. Enjoyed it.
it. Feel like I'm out of time. Anything else we got?
Nope.
So you guys all be careful on the water and enjoy yourself. Wear your life jacket and your kill switch. And from all of us here at Real Unfiltered Talk, have a great week, and we'll see you next week at 6 o'clock. Appreciate it, guys. Have a good night.